a lot of people, everybody wants more energy. It's like on TV, they advertise more energy everywhere.
Everywhere. And part of it is that we live such busy lifestyles. I mean, they were just talking the other day that teenagers don't know about boredom because we're always on the go. We're always doing it. So we always need more energy.
Sounds like a good thing for kids because I remember always telling my parents, like, you come home, Mom, I'm bored.
Yeah. Well, that's where creativity comes from, right?
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
So we need more energy so that we can get things done and we can respond to our complicated lives and, and we don't have rest time, right? We just don't. I mean, I don't. Do you?
No, it's interesting. Even when you sleep, sometimes you're not resting. Like you're thinking about work or you're going through, you wake up in the middle of the night and it's work on your mind. It's really interesting how little off time we get.
Right. And part of it is the brain knows that you're not going to set it down. Like we don't practice setting it down. It's really invasive. So I thought today we would talk about what things are to prioritize in terms of having more energy besides 5-area energy,
sure,
which long-term is going to wear you down, and how to choose. Earlier segment, they were talking about why choose an expert in terms of, they know what questions to ask. And,
sure.
And for some basic stuff, I don't think people know.
So what are some of these big things that people should be doing about getting more energy? And the second part of that is, how do you know if they're working?
Yeah.
Because it's easy to think, I should eat regularly. I should eat more greens. I should sleep more. But sometimes I sleep 9 hours, and I'm more tired than I was if I'd have gotten up earlier.
Right. And so, there, what are the rules? Like how do I know when I'm doing the right thing?
Yeah.
And I think that's really complicated. But I thought we'd go through some of them and see if it helps.
Perfect.
So sleep, we'll talk about sleep because you're going to be short of it, and your family's going to be a little short of it. And most people that I talk to are not getting enough sleep. And when you're not getting enough sleep, you're going to get weight gain issues, and you're going to get fatigue issues, and you're going to get memory issues, and you're going to get musculoskeletal pain. And the big mistake that I see people make, besides it being too short, is having random go to bed and get up times. Because sleep is really determined by our hormone system, and it's going to cue off of what you do habitually. So if there's a 3-hour swing between when you go to bed and when you wake up, you're going to actually be more tired. And so even if you're getting 6 hours sleep, it's better to do midnight to 6 than sometimes 10, sometimes 9 a.m. kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And just set so your body's like, I know what we're going to do in this time slot, and it's going to be sleep.
Is it that go to bed time or is it that wake up time that's more important?
I think
to stay regular.
To stay regular, what I see is it's the get up time. And that's the hardest thing for people to set, is the get up time. And be really regular about it, including weekends. People will be getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 days a week, and then they'll sleep until 10 on the weekends, which just is going to screw up your early week.
They do not have young children running around.
They do not.
No. We don't even use alarm clocks at our house any longer.
Yeah. But if you wanted to do an experiment, and that's how I approach people is let's do an experiment and see if it works. And so say, okay, for a week, I'm going to set my bedtime and my get up time, and I'm going to get up and go to bed at the exact same time. Even if my brain's talking to me, I'm going to just lay there and see if I feel better. And how are you going to know that if you feel better? I would make a list and say, here's my level of energy, here's my level of concentration, here's my level of memory, here's my level of muscle soreness, how many headaches you're having a week. Make a list. And then do it for a week and see what gets better, so you know that you're getting a return on investment. Because, if it's not all better, apparently people don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, well, and it seems also that people need to see such a drastic change.
Right.
Because in my experience of not sleeping, it's tough to gauge, I am 10% more alert than I was yesterday, right? It's really tough to quantify those feelings.
Right. But if your employer said, I want you to do this behavior and I would give you a 10% raise, and it cost you very little to do, Would you do it?
Yes, but sure.
Like that's...
Nobody gives me raises though, so yes, but I would. What about eating? I mean, sleep and eating also. You even mentioned like weight gain and the energy. Right. What about eating?
Yeah, so eating is how we fuel our brain, and what I'm most interested in is how to optimize brain function. And where I see people really make some mistakes is one, they'll go all day without eating, which means you're burning fumes. Your brain doesn't have the nutrition in order to concentrate. And again, like sleep, if you eat at a regular scheduled time, you will eat less. You will be more fueled for your brain. And so what I tell people is 3 meals a day or 5 meals with small snacks so every few hours. And make sure you focus on the protein. Fruits and vegetables are lovely. They're going to help you with cardiovascular disease and obesity and all these long-term things. But for the short-term gain, like protein at every meal. It really makes a difference. And again, just do the experiment. Make your list of complaints and then do it for 3-4 days and see what gets better.
Do you tend to think that there's a difference between organic and, I guess, not organic?
Yes, I do think that there's a difference, and it really depends on if you can afford it. And I can't afford everything organic, right? But I do.
No, cucumbers are like $9.
Right. I invest in the animal meats and the dairy products because they're the ones that are going to impact me. I mean, I love the environment, want to save the environment, but buying organic vegetables is better for the environment than it is for you. And so that's where I kind of tilt the scale.
But when it comes to meats and proteins, I mean, a lot of times those, the animal, like I go to like cage-free chicken, right?
Right. Awesome.
Right? Like that would make more sense,
yeah.
I would think, because otherwise these chickens, I can't stand the thought of little chickens like sitting in their little boxes.
Yeah.
I just love chickens.
Right.
But, is it chicken? Just
chicken.
There's no S. Is there? Yeah. It's like geese, chicken. Anywho.
Anyway.
But, when you start thinking about that, I guess the meat is better developed if it's like range.
Right. Or grass-fed. That's if you have a lot of disposable income, what you're looking for is grass-fed animals.
Yeah, because cows don't eat corn.
Cows don't eat corn.
And naturally.
Right. And naturally, fish don't eat corn either. So farm fish is really colored chicken.
Colored chicken.
Because they have to dye. They have to dye the chicken, right? Or they have to dye the meat so that it's red because it's not naturally red.
Because they're eating corn.
Because they're eating corn, and so it's gray meat instead of red meat. So
I think 3 people just threw up in their car, Kristen. I think Heather just threw up in her mouth over there. Dr. Kristen Allott joins us. Let's talk a little bit more also just about the last thing before we have to go to break, but exercise and then water.
Exercise and water. So, people make a big deal about exercise. Like, they think they got to go to an hour to the gym, and it's just not true. Like, getting up and walking 10 minutes in the morning before you go to work makes a huge difference. And so a story in my own life is I went to boot camp a couple of summers ago, kick up the exercise, yay, but I knew I wasn't going to stick with it, right? Just a one-time hit, right? And I noticed that I was getting all my charting done and I didn't have to stay late to work. And I'm like, at last, I've gotten competent at the skill. And 6 weeks later, I was staying late getting my charting done. And I was like, I wonder if it's because I was getting exercise in the morning. So I decided I'd walk 10 minutes in the morning. And walking 10 minutes in the morning means I don't have to stay 30 minutes in the evening. That's an easy trade-off. And so getting a little bit of exercise and doing a little bit of calisthenics actually makes a bigger difference. The studies are really clear that if you sit at a desk job for 12 hours a day, that's just bad on all sorts of levels. And so just putting a little extra in makes a difference. I love pedometers. Just get 500,000 more steps in a day.
Those are the new things, aren't they? Fitbits and
Fitbits, and they're great. People come in and I'm like, just go see what you're doing. They come in and they're like, oh, I'm getting 2,000, 5,000. So now what should I do? And I'm like, just walk another week. And they naturally just increase their levels.
Yeah.
They don't even have to plan on it. It's great.
The gamification of the human workout system.
No kidding.
Yeah, that is awesome.